Hello, fellow risk takers, and welcome to my worst investment ever. Stories of loss to keep you winning. In our community, we know that to win in investing, you must take risk, but to win big, you've got to reduce it. Join our community to get the risk reduction checklist I created from the lessons I've learned from all my guests. Also claim your special discount on my 6-week valuation masterclass bootcamp, where you'll learn how to value companies like a pro and advance your career. Go to myworstinvestmentever.com to join for free. Fellow risk takers, this is your worst podcast host, Andrew Stotz from A. Stotz Academy, and I'm here with featured guest Jam Zulueta. Jam, are you ready to rock?
Good afternoon. Yes,
Yeah.
Dr. Andrew, I'm ready to rock.
Let's do it. I'm going to introduce you to the audience. Jam is a risk expert in the fintech and digital banking space. He's also a career and personal finance coach. And we actually met before in Bangkok.
Yeah.
Why don't you take a minute and fill in further tidbits about your life?
Thank you for that, Dr. Andrew. So it's nice to meet everyone. And thank you for inviting me here. And as you said, right, little tidbits about myself. I've been working in the banking, fintech, and digital banking space for 8 years now. Prior to entering this new stage of my career in digital banking in the fintech world, I did take my MBA in Singapore and in Tokyo. And during that time, we did meet in Bangkok in one of those great investment competitions.
So, and also you're related to one of my prior guests, episode 423, Patrick.
That's
now tell
right.
us, who's Patrick?
Well, he's my older brother. He's one of my good mentors in life. So that's one of the advantages you do have when you have older brothers and sisters, that you get all the hand-me-downs, not just in terms of clothes, but in terms of advice and experiences in life.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to listen to that, that's episode 423. The title is To Achieve Success, Start Failing Now. Interesting. Well, now it's time to share your worst investment ever. And since no one goes into their worst investment thinking it will be, tell us a bit about the circumstances leading up to it, and then tell us your story.
Right. Well, I'm not sure how to go into this, but my worst investment, I wouldn't really call it monetary, right? So I have lost on investments in a financial sense, but I would say that the worst investment I've made is more of a lack of investment. And they say, right, the best investment you can make is an investment in yourself. So I believe that's one of the worst investments I have. I failed to, or early on in life, I didn't invest as much as I should have in myself. So especially in terms of the start of my career, or even back in my university days, I didn't try exploring new things or investing in myself in terms of new skills. Could have been things such as, like foreign languages, investing in new technology. So very good examples during the time I was in university. That was the start of blockchain, but I didn't have, I never looked into it, things like that. So it took me a long time to discover that when you're investing, it's not really about timing the market, right? It's about time in the market. So the same thing comes when investing in yourself. It pays to discover something early on in life by trying out new things, discovering things, and then getting into that. And once you find what you love, or you get good at something, you continue with it for many years. And by the time you're in your late 20s, 30s, 40s, you're quite the expert in that field.
So how would you summarize what you learned from this?
Well, what I learned from that was that you need to try out new things and take those risks, not just in the financial sense, but take risk on yourself. I know that we need, in the financial world, there's something such as diversification. Don't put all your eggs into one basket, things like that. But when it comes to yourself, I believe that's the one time where you need to go all in yourself, bet on yourself to try something new, to do something special, try to find what you love. And that's really been my focus for the past, I would say, 3 years. That when there's something new, something I want to try, I just get into it. Even if people tell me, no, it's not a good idea or you might fail. I mean, by not taking the shot, that's already failure.
Mm.
So I've tried so many new things over the past 3 years. I've gotten into career coaching. I've built myself a career there. I've gotten into personal finance. I've been more active building connections, finding mentors, and things like that. Right.
Mm.
So they do, and I've started to see the payoffs of those investments in myself, and in like immediately in past year and a half, I've already seen payoffs for those.
Well, let me summarize what I take away from what you've shared. I think, the first thing is I wrote down good student, nothing else. There's a lot of good students out there, but they have nothing else.
Yeah.
And just following what the teacher says, following the curriculum, doing a good job does not prepare you for life. And I'm also reminded of a story. It was about 1988, and computers were the new thing. And I remember my dad got a computer in maybe 1985 or something like that. And he was like one of the test people to use a computer in his company, DuPont.
Oh.
And so I observed my father, trying to learn how to use this computer. And then when I was in university in 1988, it was my senior year. Of course, I didn't have any money, but I worked and I tried to make money, but I basically bought a secondhand IBM XT is what it was called, with floppy disks, no hard disks or anything like that. And I bought that on my credit card.
Okay.
And then, which was a big investment. I remember it was about $700, which was huge for me at that time. And I set it up in my apartment, in my room, and I just started learning it. And I didn't become an expert on it. I came good at it. But I remember when I got hired by Pepsi, I went in right from the beginning. I went into work. I had a skill that other people didn't have. And
Yeah.
from that day, it really set my career. And, I'll tell you one other thing, Jam, that's really fascinating is that I have a lot of interns, and I always ask them, are you good at Excel? And they say, yes. But when I put them to the test and I give them a pretty, a little bit of a tough assignment, I say, do this.
Yeah.
95% of them can't do it. And then I thought to myself, Jem, this is what was really amazing. I was like, wait a minute, just learning Excel, to a higher degree than most other people in the class can still differentiate you
And
from
set
the
you
others.
apart.
Wow. I mean, I would have thought everybody knew Excel, everybody knew Word, everybody knew all these things. But truth is, most people just know the basics. So the lesson, the takeaway that I get from what you said, what your story is about is that start now, learn something, and you can set yourself apart.
Definitely.
The other thing I thought about as you were talking about, I had a policy when I was young. And of course, I didn't have a lot of money, but I said, no budget, meaning no limit to my budget for two things: computer, anything related to computers, buy it, and books. So right now my library has about 500 books, and I've had 5,000 books go through my library, all of which, I've read, and I just have read and read and read. And so I highly recommend that, computers in my case and books was the things that really brought me a lot of value. And it also reminds me that, we talk about like a compound effect, with money, but we also talk about the compound effect of knowledge. And I can say that being at my age now, having focused on the world of finance so deeply for so long, the knowledge level just built up little by little. But now, it's at a level that feels great. So based upon what you learned from this story and what you continue to learn, what one action would you recommend our listeners take to avoid suffering the same fate?
Well, I'd recommend action, right? So a lot of times we see something we like and we think very hard about it, we plan about it, but you need to get to that first step. So a very good example is me and my YouTube channel. When I first started it, I was making a video and I was thinking, oh, is this good? Is this the right edit to make? Is this the right story? Did I say something well? But at the end of the day, if you don't post it, you won't have that initial momentum to carry you forward. So just start, just do it. I mean, as plain as it sounds, just get into it.
Fantastic. Great advice. Just do it. All right. Last question. What's your number one goal for the next 12 months?
My number one goal for the next 12 months, professionally, I am helping build a digital bank. So we're expecting to launch that in the next 12 months. So that's a hard deadline to launch that in 12 months. But on a personal note, just increase my learning, focus on my career coaching and personal finance career. So just
Fantastic.
get that going for the next 12 months.
Got it. All right, listeners, there you have it. Another story of loss to keep you winning. My number one goal for the next 12 months is to help you, my listener, reduce risk and increase return in your life. To achieve this, I've created our community at myworstinvestmentever.com. And when you join, you get that special discount to my 6-week valuation masterclass boot camp. As we conclude, Jam, I want to thank you again for coming on the show. And on behalf of A Stotz Academy, I hereby award you alumni status for turning your worst investment ever into your best teaching moment. Do you have any parting words for the audience?
Well, it's been my pleasure. Thank you for the invite. But for the audience out there, just get to it.
Perfect. And I'll have links in the show notes to your LinkedIn and any other contact details that we have. So for those people that want to get some career advice and also personal finance advice, make sure to reach out to Jam. That's a wrap on another great story to help us create, grow, and protect our wealth. Fellow risk takers, this is your worst podcast host, Andrew Stotz, saying, I'll see you on the upside.